Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel and thank you so much for tuning in with me today. So I am finally back to filming because in the beginning of October I actually left for a well-deserved holiday and it was amazing. But upon arrival, like literally 2 days later, I became really sick. So I was out for like over a week and today is the very first day that I kind of feel like a little bit better, where I feel like I can film again. And yeah, if I still sound a little bit off, if I'm still talking through my nose, I do apologize. But yeah, I was completely out of it. I was so sick. I was not able to do much. The only thing I was able to do was to film a couple of eyeshadow looks for you guys, but that was about it. After that, I was basically crashing. I had zero energy. So I'm so happy that I'm back with a little bit more energy and with some new makeup releases because I picked up a couple of new makeup releases. Not all of them are brand new, but most of them are. And I'm really excited to be sharing my opinion on these products with you guys today. And I'm also really excited to put on some makeup. So yeah, please do let me know in the comment section down below if you guys have tried any of the products that I'm featuring in today's video. What is your opinion? I'm always looking forward reading your comments. And also, I'm going to be listing and linking all of the products in my description box down below, alongside with some discount codes. As per usual, none of these products were sent to me, but my affiliate links are actually generated through my partner over at Shop My Shelf, and I do earn a small commission in case you are using them to shop. So thank you so much in case you are using them. That means the world to me. But if you would like to support the channel in any other way, you can just like, subscribe, and also ring the bell in order to stay notified about my upcoming content. That is also very much appreciated. But alright, you guys, that's pretty much everything I wanted to have said for the intro. So I would say let's kick it off with the very first product. And let's start with a brand new primer that I was trying out. So this is by One Size, and this is the Oil Sucker Extreme Mattifying Alkaline Primer. This product came out quite recently. Here it is. I wanted to try this out because I also have the new foundation by One Size. So you guys are going to see a couple of One Size products in the beginning of this video. Now, I've been trying this out quite desperately because I feel like I did not have the best of luck with this product thus far. My main problem with this product is just the fact that no matter what I do, no matter how little product I'm using of this, it always pills on my skin, like it balls up. Like it's just so strange. So I'm gonna try and make it work today. This is definitely a mattifying primer. It is basically an oil controlling primer. So that is really useful to me because I do tend to get a little bit oilier around here, around my chin. I am going to be using this product solely on those spots. I, in the beginning, used this all over my face, and that did not work out the best for me. So on the website, they are actually saying that this non-comedogenic primer delivers clinical oil control, extending makeup wear for up to 12 hours while tightening the appearance of pores. I also have to read how to use this because I bet you I was using this so wrong. So shake well before use. I have never done that before, so we're going to be doing that. Start with a pea-size amount on complete dry skin. So step 3, spread a thin, even layer to oily areas only. Okay, so this is not for all over the face, and I feel like I did use it correctly in the sense that after my first attempt, I did only apply it to the areas where I would get oily. For the best result, allow the product to dry for 3 minutes while remaining expressionless. Okay, well, we shall see how that is gonna go. I'm gonna be clipping back my hair and then we are going to be applying the product. So I'm gonna be shaking this product up. I'm gonna give it a really good shake. That's something I completely forgot to do when I was using it. Maybe that's the magic trick. Maybe that's the reason why it was pilling on my skin. And it always pilled on me. So let's see how it's gonna work today. So I'm just gonna use a little bit of this, just a tiny bit. That's even too much, I feel like. But see, the texture of this, it's like a very thin, almost like serum-like gel. So I'm gonna rub it in between my fingers and just take it into this area. Now this will mattify immediately upon application, and I almost feel like I should be doing tapping motions here. Like I don't want to swipe this all over my face. So let's use a little bit right here. Okay, and now I'm gonna do my chin. All right, I'm gonna try and remain completely expressionless for like 3 minutes and I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back. It's been about 3 minutes since I applied this. I will say right here on those areas, it has not pilled whatsoever, but my forehead, I mean, it's like coming off. I don't know what it is, why it does this on me, but it dries down and it feels like so like grainy and it just balls up. So maybe my forehead might not be the place for this primer. Like maybe right here is really where I am the oiliest, and that's why it's working the best right here. On my chin, it also has absorbed. Now, this is a primer that will sink in, and I don't want to say that it's drying out your skin necessarily, but you can feel like a little bit of a tugging, like a pulling sensation, just a little bit, not over the top, unless you are using a lot of product. But yeah, my only issue is just that it's just kind of like pilling. Like if I would do this, I'd have these little like grains in between my finger. Otherwise, I feel like, whenever I use this primer, I really did not get that oily, but I will also say I just kind of prefer this one by the Nessa Myrix because it's just so much easier to use. I don't have to wait 3 minutes. It's not as finicky. I mean, it's okay. It's not necessarily as good though as another primer that I've purchased by them, and I just love this one a little bit more. This is a little bit more up my alley. And this is the Secure de Bleu Makeup Magnet Primer by One Size. I feel like this is an amazing primer, to be honest with you. This one, really, really good. And I will definitely keep on using this because I really, really like it. So I'm gonna use this one as well. And I'm just gonna apply it on top of this. I hope it's not gonna ball up. Like, I hope these two work in harmony with each other because thus far I only tried them out separately. This primer right here, this is like exactly the consistency that I like. It's almost like a gel. It almost feels like my Vanish airbrush primer, you guys. But this one feels a little bit more hydrating even, but it's giving me such a similar effect to my beloved Hourglass Vanish Airbrush Primer. This one is also quite blurring and quite mattifying, and I'm seriously impressed with this primer. Like, I've been loving it, and ever since I got it, I've been using this on a daily basis. Literally, I'm so glad that I purchased this because this is exactly the type of primer that I'm looking for. It's also not necessarily a tacky primer or any of that. It's just blurring, it's just a little bit mattifying. It's just so smoothing and perfecting, and I really have been enjoying this. So before we are moving on to the One Size foundation, because I feel like that is definitely one of the stars of the video, let's move on to some lip treatments. Like I want to put something on my lips, a little bit of lip care. This is one of my favorite lip care products in the world, and they recently came out with yet another amazing flavor profile. So I'm talking about no other than the Summer Fridays Lip Butter Balm. I love this product so much. I feel like it's one of the best lip care products out there. I've been so obsessed since years now. I recently picked up the iced coffee one, which is chef's kiss. So, so nice. I really like it. And now they came out with maybe one of my favorite flavor that I've tried thus far. It is the hot cocoa one. Like this is a chocolate taste, but it's like such an amazing, nice chocolate taste. Like honestly, I have to be careful not to like lick my lips, lick this off because it's just so, so amazing. And I kind of went bananas, okay, but they came out with a bundle for Christmas for the holidays. So if you are looking for a really nice gift idea, they came out with this bundle. And in this bundle, we have the pink sugar flavor, we have the sweet mint, and the cherry one. I have not tried them out yet. So I'm really, really intrigued and really excited to be doing so. And also, what I love about these is the fact that they come with 15 grams of product. That is a lot of product. The ones that are tinted sometimes have a little bit more pigment, but in general, they are pretty sheer. I feel like thus far, the one that is the most pigmented is the brown sugar one. And brown sugar, it used to be my favorite one out of them. So brown sugar, I can only recommend. It's like this beautiful brown plummy shade. But I think this one really stole the show, this new hot cocoa one. I'm gonna apply it. It's gonna look a little bit strange because I have nothing on my face. And this does have a little bit of brown pigment. It has such a beautiful, like, sheer tint to it. So I'm gonna squeeze a little bit of the product out into the nozzle and apply it. Mmm. But oh my gosh, I really have to be careful not to lick this off because this is just addictive. I just love this formula. This formula is non-sticky. It's so nourishing on the lips. It gives you an amazing amount of shine and it's just so cushiony. It's just so good. Can only recommend this if you like chocolate. Don't sleep on this because thus far I never had like any lip care product that had a chocolate sort of flavor to it that was actually pleasant. And this is sweet and pleasant. It's so lovely. It's really, really amazing. I really adore it. But all right, you guys, my entire face is prepped and primed. So let's move on to the foundation. So this is the Turn Up the Base Full Bead Liquid Foundation by One Size Beauty. I ordered this before I went off onto a holiday. And guess what? I went to the Canary Islands. And if you've ever been to the Canary Islands, my gosh, you know that the sun exposure there is no joke. I mean, I got a tan, and it's a crazy tan. And I am wearing on purpose like a turtleneck. And because I ordered this foundation prior to me leaving, the shade is not gonna match me today. I'm gonna look like a ghost because of this crazy tan. You can't really see it. This actually does come in 38 shades, and your girl ended up with the shade Light 15R. So that is a light shade with rosy undertones. It's not the lightest shade, but once my tan is faded, I think the shade is going to match me quite well. This comes with this beautiful frosted glass bottle. It's actually pretty luxurious, if I may say. I think it looks really, really nice. So yeah, here it is. Let's give it a shake. The texture of this, to be honest, I was a little bit surprised when I tried this out the very first time. It's a little bit more thick than I thought it would be. I thought that this would be like almost like a serum foundation. It's not. It's a little bit more balmy, actually, more creamy in consistency. You can see it's not gonna run down my finger. Maybe we can do one side with the sponge and the other one with a brush just to see what would work better because thus far I've only tried it out with the sponge. So again, I took 2 pumps and let's go. I mean, coverage-wise, very good. Like, um, quite pigmented straight away, right? Right here, I can still see my skin poking through. With the sponge, I feel like it gives me a really nice sort of like more high up medium coverage, okay? It blends out like a dream with the sponge though. And it does not feel heavy, although it's a little bit of a creamier texture. It feels pretty lightweight on the skin, blends out beautifully. I mean, I don't really have much to critique. I also feel like that the finish is definitely more of a soft matte. It's not like something drying, it's not something cakey because of the texture. I would say it. I also feel like people with dry skin could use this because sometimes one size is considered to be more aimed at people with oilier skin, but I feel like this foundation could also be worn by somebody with combination skin or even dry skin because I feel like the texture is really like honestly, I feel like, and I rarely say that, this foundation could be worn by anyone. And I mean, it kind of like dries down. It does have a little bit of that self-setting property, but it's still very flexible. I don't feel like it's drying down to a point where you could not add another layer on top of it. You know, some foundations, they dry down so quickly that it looks cakey, and that if you would apply another layer on top of it, you would disrupt the first layer. And this is definitely not that product. So let's actually do the other side with a brush, and let's see if I achieve a little bit of a different coverage level. I'm also going to use 2 pumps. So let's see. I'm gonna try it because I feel like you could definitely use this with a brush. And I'm gonna try and do also like tapping motions. Now, I kind of feel like there is quite a difference if you apply it with a brush or with a sponge. I feel like this definitely gave me more coverage, like straight away, and I still have product on my finger. So the sponge, the nature of a sponge, you know, it will absorb the product slightly. But I will say I kind of prefer the way that a sponge blends this foundation out. And also noting that they actually did release a sponge with the foundation. I did not pick it up. It looks gigantic. It looks like something that would be too big to use on my face. I always use my Rapha sponge. I really love this sponge. I don't want any other sponge ever in my life. Such a good sponge. But I feel like, you know, this looks a little bit more smooth. Whereas this, I mean, you can kind of like see it's looking a little bit heavier. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the sponge and just go over it a little bit because, yeah, I feel like this one just applies a little bit better with the sponge. And really, it depends on what you want. If you want more coverage straight away, go in with a brush and then maybe just tap it in with the sponge, but the application looks a little bit more flawless with a sponge, you know, with a dampened sponge, because mine is also dampened. Now I still have this much left right here, so I'm gonna just use it right here where I feel like I could use a little bit more coverage. Not that I necessarily need it, but well, you know, I don't want to waste a product. I can see myself wearing this foundation quite a lot because it's beautiful. It's amazing. And it also, when I used it the very first time, it wore amazingly. It was on my face until the end of the day. It did not budge. So in that sense, I think this is fantastic. And also this foundation does not have a scent to it. It does not have any perfume in it. And I really, really appreciate that. I think this foundation in general, it also kind of like perfected my entire skin. I think my skin still looks like skin. It does not look heavy. It does not look cakey. It looks just perfected and smoothened out. And also that is due to the fact that I also used the one size primers, right? So the combination of these products together on my face looks really, 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 really stunning. I really like it. I'm really impressed with this foundation. I'm so, so happy with this. Let me know if you have tried this out yourself. What are your thoughts? I honestly love it. I just don't like the fact that it's not gonna match, but what can we do? But all right, you guys, I tried to leave my under eye area out a little bit because I do have a brand new concealer for today's video and I've not tried it yet. So this is gonna be interesting. So this is the Bare Pro Skin Perfecting Matte Concealer with Mineral SPF 25, and this is by Bare Minerals. So I was really intrigued when I saw that Bare Minerals came out with this concealer because I feel like it's the companion concealer to one of my favorite foundations of all time. This was also the foundation that I brought with me on holidays, and that's the Bare Pro foundation. I absolutely adore this foundation. Love it. This came out at the beginning of this year. It got reformulated. I have an entire video, but this one is just so, so special. So when I saw that they released a concealer, I was really intrigued. The only thing I'm a little bit worried about, because first off, I've never tried it. Secondly, I thus far did not have the best experience with their concealers. Now, this comes in 20 different shades, and to my surprise, they did not offer a light, cool shade, which was very disappointing to me. I made a weird decision, but I actually picked up 2 different shades. I picked up the shade Fair 150 Cool, and also the shade Medium 300 Cool. So because we have this foundation going on, I'm not sure if the medium concealer is actually going to match 100% on its own. If this is going to be too deep, then I will have to dot a little bit of this shade on top of it, you know, just to match the foundation with the concealer. So they are actually claiming that this has a 16-hour comfortable matte wear. It is crease, transfer, and sweat proof. Broad spectrum mineral SPF 25 protection. Instantly covers dark circles and blurs fine lines. It's breathable, undetectable, and weightless. Ideal for all skin, even sensitive ones. Okay, so here we have the fair shade, 150 Cool. Here we have the medium 300 Cool. And this is my favorite one by Natasha Denona. This is the shade R5. So you can see, in terms of undertone, that Natasha Denona definitely has pink in the rosy undertone. That's, to me, a cool undertone, a perfect cool undertone. This almost has a little bit more beige in there. And this one looks a little bit more peachy. This is the medium shade. So let's see. It really does not look cool on my skin. I feel like we need a little bit of the fair shade. So I'm just gonna dot this in between, just a little bit. Did not use that much product here. Let's hope for the best. I have no idea how this is gonna be like. So I'm gonna blend it out with the sponge and see. Oh my gosh, this has amazing coverage. Wow. Okay, I think I made the right decision with just, you know, mixing both of these shades. This is beautiful. Okay, I did not expect it. I was a little bit worried that this would not look great, but it looks amazing. Oh my gosh. Wow. So I'm going to be doing the exact same thing on the other side. It's going to match the foundation quite well. But when you just look at the shade like that, it just looks a little bit off. But man, this is, wow, this is a beautiful formula. And I love the fact that this also has SPF. So when it dries down, it will definitely kind of adjust maybe to more of a cool undertone. Wow, I am speechless, you guys. This is such a beautiful concealer. This has such good coverage. It blends out like a dream, does not dry down in a weird way. And it's not like a cakey matte. It's actually really smoothing. It's really perfecting. I'm really impressed. I am really, truly impressed. So the next thing that I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be applying a little bit of an eye primer on top of my eyelids. I'm going to be using my favorite eye primer, the one that I'm always using, okay? I'm going to be using my Sigma eyeshadow base primer in the shade Persuade. Going to be putting that up on there. And then I think, you know, I'm going to proceed with some cream products before setting my face, because the cream product that I picked up for this video did not really look that great on top of powder. So I feel like maybe today I can try it underneath powder. Maybe it's gonna work better. We shall see. So I'm gonna be using this. I'll be back in a second. So I'm back. I basically just applied my Sigma eyeshadow base primer on top of my eyelids, but I also went ahead and I did apply a little bit of a cream bronzer. I used the Too Faced Melting Bronzing and Sculpting Stick in the shade Chocolate Mousse. I've talked about this a lot ever since this was released. I kind of really enjoy using this. I think this looks so beautiful. I really love the texture. I love this cream formula. And the reason for me doing that before I'm actually setting my face is due to this blush. I thought to myself, I really wanted to try out this blush. This blush was released earlier this year. I kind of passed on it for a long time, but I did put an order through with the brand recently, and I thought, you know what, let's just give it a try. You guys may know I do have a lot of cream blushes, but I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of them. So hopefully I can make this one work a little bit better today, because I did use this on top of powder and I did not enjoy it that much. It looked really, really patchy. So hopefully today it's gonna work out a little bit better. So this is by Lawless, and it's the Pinch My Cheeks Soft Blur Cream Blush. Lawless is a brand that I have reviewed quite a lot on my channel. I do have a bunch of full face reviews on the brand. I chose the shade Rosebud. It's such a beautiful shade. No questions asked. But yeah, the formula, don't know. So let's try it again today and let's see if I'm gonna be applying it underneath powder. Maybe it's gonna work a little bit better. If that's not gonna work out, I have to go in with a powder blush later on. So I'm gonna use this on my Ilia complexion brush. I always use this brush with cream blushes, so I don't think it's necessarily an application problem or anything. Yeah, I'm just gonna tap this into the brush, like work it in a little bit, and then go on to my skin with it. Now it's a beautiful shade. It's really, really pretty. So let's see what's gonna happen. Sometimes my skin likes to eat up cream blushes, so I do apply this quite generously because I feel like if I don't apply enough of this, it's just, maybe it's just gonna disappear again. This does not have that much opacity, so I can see my skin underneath it popping through. And I kind of like that if a cream blush has a little bit more opacity. It's much better now, though, without the powder underneath it. But yeah, it is, I don't know, they are calling this soft blur, right? Yeah, I don't think it's that blurring. I don't think so. And I love Lawless powder blushes. Like, I do have so many of them. And on this side, it looks a little bit more natural. It looks a little bit better. Maybe it's just my skin. I don't know. Yeah, in general, cream blushes sometimes do give me a little bit more of a headache. Now, I could go ham with this shade though, because I really love this shade. I think it's such a beautiful, like muted, cool toned, almost like rose. All right, I feel like we just have to see how it's going to react with powder on top of it. In my personal opinion, it has just a little bit too much of a radiance to it. I'm not the biggest fan of that. Now, a formula that I absolutely love because it does not have this like shiny film on top of it is the Sweet Beauty blush creams. Those are amazing. They are almost like a true cream to powder formula. So let's use some powder. And I feel like because we are using the one size products, why aren't we using the one size powder? I have to look for it. Where is it? I mean, by no means is this a new product. This is definitely not a new release, but this is the Ultimate Setting Powder by One Size. It's the shade Ultra Pink. This powder, I love it. I really, really love it. This is amazing if you have oily skin, but even if you don't have oily skin, I feel like you could use it. Now, you can also get a different shade. You can also get a translucent one, right? But you know how I love pink powders. I love my pink powders. I really like them. So I'm just going to use a little bit on this puff. And let's set one side of my face first. I'm just going to tap off the excess, work it into the puff, and then go underneath my eyes with this. So let's see how it's going to work on the blush. I mean, just look at how beautiful this powder is, right? This has just set everything into place. It has definitely canceled a lot of the excessive shine that this cream blush gave me now. Definitely has canceled it out, smoothened out my pores. You just have to use the correct amount of this. I really like this powder and I'm so glad I have it because I'm using this all the time. Okay, I feel like this is looking really, really good with powder. So I'm gonna be moving on with my eyebrows though. And I'm gonna spare you this part because I don't have a new eyebrow product to test out in today's video. I'm almost like over that because recently I have tried out some eyebrow products and they weren't that great. So I'm just gonna go with what I love and what I'm used to, and I'm just gonna use my probably my Rare Beauty Brow Harmony pencil in combination with my Kosas Eyebrow Gel, and I'm gonna do that off camera, and I'll be right back with the next product. All right, you guys, I am back. My eyebrows are done. I just feel like looking at myself, at my complexion, I feel like I need a little bit more color. Like, that's really what it's lacking. Maybe it's also because my neck is just looking so much more saturated than my face is right now. So I'm just trying to compensate a little bit, the contrast of that. I'm going to be using a little bit of my Hourglass Ambient Lighting Bronzer in the shade Diffuse Bronze Light. I'm going to use a little bit of that just to, apply a little bit over the Too Faced product, the cream bronzer that we have going on. So I'm just going to do that, and I think then we are going to be proceeding with a powder blush. And I actually do have a powder blush that I never featured on my channel, and I feel like today might be the day where it comes in very handy. So my powder bronzer is applied. So next up, I'm just going to go in with a little bit of a powder blush on top of this cream blush. And I want to use something that I have since a hot minute now, but I never showcased it on my channel. So this is by NYX, and it's the Buttermelt Blush. I actually have this in 3 different shades, but the shade that I pulled out is actually the shade Electric Fuchsia. Oh, such a beautiful shade, right? I really like this formula. I also like their bronzers, but yeah, this blush is a little bit, I don't want to say pigmented because really it's not as pigmented as their bronzers. But this is gonna give me a little bit of life because right now I feel like my face is looking a little bit flat, okay? So I'm just gonna take this. That's a crazy shade. I have to tap that off. I'm gonna tap it off a little bit and then just apply it on here. It's such a beautiful formula though. Like, look at that. That just does the trick. This is exactly what I need right now. A little bit of something. So yeah, I really like this formula. I think it blends out beautifully. Just don't use too much and have a good brush to blend your blush out. Tap it off, so that you don't apply the excess. But I love the formula. I think this formula is so beautiful. Now just keep in mind, I also have the Lawless blush underneath it. So really today it's just looking a little bit warmer than it would if I would apply this, on my face without having a cream blush underneath it. Now I did pick up a newly released highlighter, I want to say, but it's not really a new release. It's a shade addition to an already existing highlighter. So this is the Glow Seeker highlighter by Anastasia Beverly Hills. So this highlighter is so beautiful. The original shade is the shade Sun Idol. This one, it's almost like a champagne-y golden sort of shade. And they came out with 2 additional shades. Now, there was something that happened where the retailer where I ordered this from actually sent me the wrong shade. And so I contacted them saying, oh, I did not order this shade. And then they decided to replace it, but I did not have to send that wrong shade back. But now I've got all 3 shades. So that's kind of funny. I mean, one of them I kind of got for free. And the shade that I actually wanted that I got now is the shade Ethereal. And Ethereal has a little bit more of a pinky champagne flip to it. This is Sun Idol, the original shade, and this is the new shade. I was like, there is such a tiny difference. Honestly, guys, you don't need both of them. Now, I'm also gonna show you the other shade that I was sent by mistake, and this is the shade Enchanted, and I have not used this. This is still in its packaging. This is straight up like a coppery golden highlighter. I'm not sure if I'm ever gonna be using this or if I'm just gonna gift this to one of my friends who has a little bit of deeper skin than I do, because I don't really know what I'm gonna be doing with this. So I'm gonna be applying the newly released shade Ethereal. Maybe let's even do one side with this and then one side with the other shade, the OG shade. So I'm gonna be using my favorite highlighter brush by Scott Barnes. And this is the new shade. And the new shade, I'm also going to apply it on the tip of my nose as per usual. And a little bit on my Cupid's bow. It is pretty. It has a little bit of shimmer in there, but it's very hard to see, and it's going to give you that beautiful, like really reflective glow. It's very, very beautiful, the formula. It's not as wet looking as my Natasha Denona Hygiene Glow Beautifier. That one is even like more wet. This one is a little bit more I would say shiny, a little bit more beaming. This is the new shade, so let's apply the OG shade, Sun Idol, on the other side. Now this one, it's definitely a little bit more golden. But I really feel like on the skin, I can barely tell a difference. I don't know. I mean, yeah, it's a little bit more of a pale golden champagne, but it's very hard to see. I mean, I can see it underneath my studio lights. I'm not sure if you would be able to detect the difference. I mean, I really love this formula. I really love this highlighter. I just feel like I've got too many now. Do you need both of them? There is such a minor difference in between both of them that I'm not sure if this was really needed. But all right, my complexion is done. So let's actually move on to the eyes. And I actually do have a new eyeshadow palette. So this is the Lawless, the Dreamy Dozen Volume 2. So here is the eyeshadow palette. I am a little bit scared to use this because it's been a hot minute since I've used Lawless eyeshadow palettes. I just thought, you know what, I'm just gonna try it. I'm gonna give it a go again. The one thing that always disappoints me a little bit are their shimmers, because they used to have an amazing formula. The baby one had like an amazing shimmer in there, and the glam one, beautiful. But ever since, I feel like their shimmers just became more and more lackluster. Let's have a look inside at this color story. This is a very safe, a very neutral sort of eyeshadow palette. I have not swatched mine. I don't have the volume 1, so I'm not sure which one is more cool toned or more warm toned. I really don't know. I'm gonna try and give Lawless another chance and see if they have improved anything or if it's still the exact same formula that we had in the past eyeshadow palettes. I'm gonna start off with this more like pinky, this muted pinky shade right here called Soft Touch. And I'm just gonna put this all over my crease. Usually I do like the matte formula by Lawless. I never have like major problems with their matte formula. It's more the shimmers that are so lackluster. So let's see. I mean, Soft Touch, here we go. Their mattes are actually stunning. They're really buildable, they are soft, and they are easy to blend. So let's use the shade Mahogany. This one right here. Let's see, this looks like more of a toasty sort of brown. All right, so next up, I'm gonna go in with the shade Shortbread, the lightest shade, this one right here. Just gonna bring it into my inner corners. Okay, so thus far, this was really easy to blend. This was so easy to do. So let's go in with a little bit of a deeper shade. Let's use the shade Cola. This one right here, this beautiful, like cool tone brown. So I'm gonna try and smoke this out a little bit more. Right now, I feel like this eyeshadow look is clashing a little bit with the coolness in my cheeks. So we need to bring back a little bit of coolness. I love these brown shades together. Beautiful. So I'm going to be using also a brown eyeliner in my waterline. And I'm going to go in with the Martin Cosmetics eyeliner. I love these eyeliners by Martin Cosmetics. I use them all the time. They are so pretty. And this is the shade Maroon. It's a maroon brown. And it's going to be perfect for this look. So I'm just going to be putting that in my waterline. So I basically went ahead and I did my lower lash line. I did use this shade and I deepened it up with this shade, and in my inner corner, I kind of like, you know, did a little bit of a mix in between this shade and this shade just to get everything looking nice and smooth and blended. I also went ahead and I did clean up my edges. And now I do want to use, I don't even know if I should use glitter glue. Like, I really don't know. I might just do it just to see if it's gonna make a difference, maybe. So I'm just gonna apply that real quick. Now the question is how I'm gonna like this shimmer formula. I'm gonna use this shade right here, and this is the shade Stella. Well, the shade looks pretty on my finger, right? Let's see if it's gonna look good on my eyelid. Let's see what this is gonna be like. I do want to say this shade is interesting. The formula though, it looks a little bit weird on my eyes. Like it looks, it really feels like Lawless has not caught up with the train that is 2024. Like a lot of like eyeshadow palettes these days have like a little bit more of a sophisticated shimmer formula. This feels like 2018 think. I'm gonna go in with a little bit of the black. So this is the shade Eclipse. Yeah, I want to just use this very sparingly, just in the inner corner. I mean, that's gonna give it a little bit more dimension for sure. Okay, that looks a lot better with a little bit of black. I think that did the job. So I'm gonna take this champagne shade called Scorpio here on my finger a little bit. Well, let's see what this is gonna be like. I'm just gonna put it a little bit on top of this shade just to brighten this up slightly. Yeah, these shimmers are just not it. They're not it. Ugh, I don't know. I think it's almost like texture enhancing, which is very strange of me to say. So I'm gonna go into the lightest shimmer here, Glaze. This one right here. And I'm gonna try and highlight my inner corner. Honestly gave them the benefit of the doubt. I really thought that they had improved something. I really thought that, you know, they would have changed their shimmer formula by now, but unfortunately, I don't think we can ever get these beautiful shimmer shades back that were in the Baby One palette. For this shade to work properly, this would have required a different mid-tone, cool-toned matte. I'm gonna try and do another look with this and post it over my Shorts tab. And I'm gonna try and use more of these golden honey sort of like tones with these browns. Maybe it's gonna work out a little bit better. I'm gonna be finishing off my eye look. I'm gonna be using a mascara off camera, and then I'll be right back with the last category. Then we're gonna be moving on to the lips. Right, you guys, I am back. So off camera, I just finished my eye look with my mascara, and I used the KVD full sleeve mascara. I've got to say, I really like this mascara. I am using this from time to time, not all the time, but I really need to get some more use out of this before this expires. And this was actually a mascara that I picked up this year, and I really like it. I think it's a pretty mascara. And then another thing that I did was, I think this look just irritated me a little bit. And it was also because of my blush. The fuchsia shade by NYX that I applied just pulled way too cool toned to work in harmony with the eye look. So I did a little bit of a trick. I used the Kaleidos blushes, and excuse me, but there is no shade name on here. And sometimes I just like to use this a little bit whenever I want to add a little bit of warmth. So I added this on top of the NYX blush now, and I feel like it just looks so much better now. I really feel like this has done the trick. Usually I love cool tone blushes, right? But not with this eye look. So I think it really saved the entire look. So let's actually move on to my lips. And for the lips, I actually do have not necessarily a newly released product, but I have new shades in a product that was already on the market, that was released this year, that I'm obsessed with. You have seen this product in multiple videos if you've been watching my channel. And oh my gosh, I was literally on cloud 9 when I saw these new shades. And of course, I'm talking about the Lip Velvet formula by Anastasia Beverly Hills. I love them so, so much. I had 5 shades, now I added 2 more. They also added a couple more shades. They added some deeper shades here, right? And these 2 new shades are the shades Hush Rose and the shade Cool Brown. Oh my gosh, when I saw that she released a cool brown shade, stop it. I had to get this. I had to see if this was up my alley. The lighter shade is the Hush Rose, that release. I mean, this is so beautiful. This is going to be perfect for the springtime. I don't think this is going to work for today, so I'm going to go with Cool Brown. Let me actually apply a lip liner. And I actually pulled out 2 different ones. I'm not sure which one I'm going to go with, but I pulled out the lip liner Missy by Sweet Beauty and also RMS Beauty Midnight Nude. So I'm gonna like swatch these on my hand. So I think in terms of undertone, this one is a little bit more warm, but this one would work amazingly. So I'm gonna be using the RMS one, Midnight Nude. It's a little bit of a deeper sort of like lip liner. So I'm just gonna apply it off camera and I'll be right back. All right, so the lip liner is applied. I really want to show you guys real quick a swatch because I mean this is described as a cool brown. I've already tried this. I mean, I could not resist, okay? The thing is, it is more of a plummy brown, you know? It's not necessarily a taupey brown. Does not really have that much gray in here. This is so plummy brown to me. And a cool brown is honestly this one. This one is by Luna Beauty and it's the liquid lipstick in the shade Sailor. Like this is such a beautiful shade, but it's also very much like what I would call a cool tone brown. A cool brown usually to me is really a taupe. And yeah, this is so much more cool toned than this. This, I can definitely pull it off, especially in the colder months. So this is perfect for right now. This is perfect for the fall time and also for winter. This is going to be an amazing shade. I love this formula. This formula is so blurring on the lips. It is so velvety, soft, and smooth. And it's just so amazing. It's gonna last forever. Like this is on your lips for a very, very long time. I really adore this. And you don't need a lot of product, honestly. A little bit of this is gonna go a long way. So yeah, I'm gonna be applying it right now so you can see for yourself. That is such a beautiful shade. It's a little bit deeper than I thought it would be initially. But you know, they did release some deeper shades. So this is really, really pretty though. And I love how comfortable this is. I just love how easy this is to apply. I adore this formula. So this was such a beautiful surprise. What are we thinking about the makeup? I mean, you know, I know I had to adjust a lot of the blushes today, but otherwise, I feel like this foundation is still looking so, so, so flawless. So I'm really, really happy with my new purchases. I'm happy how it's looking, and that's pretty much everything that counts. Let me know if you have tried out any of these products yourself. If so, what are your experiences? I would love to hear from you down below in the comments. Don't forget to check out my description box as well. And also, if you did end up enjoying this video, don't forget to give it a like, subscribe to my channel, and also ring the bell in order to get notified about my upcoming videos. And until next time, please do take care. Thank you so, so much for watching.